a long sentence that says, "I had my light bulb moment."
Hooray!
Hopefully it wasn't followed by death.
No. It says, "I absolutely have to give a shout out to the coaches. It's like everything finally clicked this race. Good job, sir."
It looked like it did for a lot of people. The
Yeah.
pace was really
Here,
good. People were clean. Honest, that was a great race, everyone.
Yeah.
Except for my mistake here.
Let's see.
Mid to backpack. First lap was atrocious. to be honest.
You got a fan going there, sir, Mr. Felton?
That's just not even fair.
No, I don't.
I'm not even going to do that.
I'm hearing that, though. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I was hearing that too, but I'd like to not hear that.
So, are you ready, Mr. Davin?
Yep, we're good.
Okay.
All right.
Henry
Go for
threw
it.
me one 4150, car number 63. If you guys have got anything you want to see, you can send it to me in DM, or we'll do like down the line if anybody has anything specific. And Mr. House, you're next.
Oh, I haven't said anything.
Oh, I know.
I'm just judging you. I'm just judging you.
That was last week, Larry.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Oh, that's a murder.
That's the send.
Like to report a crime.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn 5. 7:02 p.m.
Somebody got smoked.
This will never work ever.
Who was that?
It worked for me. 'Cause
Josiah.
it worked for me.
Was it?
17. I went right through the middle of both of them.
I'm kidding.
My heart was in my mouth for a second there.
No, I saw the name. You got the white tick next to your name, but that was Mr. Sika.
Yeah.
Well,
Dirty
it's over.
tires and everything, driving in the dirt.
Yep. I mean,
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out where he actually breaks.
Dirt dogging.
Well, Josiah, I might recommend maybe you slow down the playback speed, and that'll give you more time, and you don't have to play it over and over again.
The first time I ran one of these, someone's giving me grief for slowing down the playback speed.
Well, I'm in charge, so I get to do that. So
that was Mr. Nagy, and he was throwing a fit because it changes everything in the relationship. Blah, blah. Shut up and watch.
All right.
Yeah, we're trying to pay attention to something specific.
I think also, sorry to jump in. I think it's a lapped car as well, so it's not it's not racing with us.
Ooh, we're even getting even worse.
Yeah.
So breaking point is about the 100-meter here, and that's way past.
Well,
not only that, dirty tires and been off track, and
yeah. I mean, let's start from the beginning, right? Like coming out of 3, we're on the dirty side of the track, so that's fine if you're trying to whiten something out, but not going to be okay when we get to turn 5 when you have to turn. So
yeah, Michael, were you having problems with your wheel or something? I mean, this is blatant, man. Oh yeah, like somebody was crawling in your lap or something, maybe.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Got a cat that doesn't like you?
It's a good time for excuses.
Or is your girlfriend frisky?
Well, no, he's not even in the chat. He may have already bailed.
Yeah. There's a lot of.
Would you mind? Hey, could you show car 17 in that same scenario?
Sure thing.
You were passing him. You had him by quite a bit.
Yeah, but look what happens when he hits them.
Yeah, he sent it to the wrong side of the track.
Yeah.
Well, parting the Red Sea's there.
I got right through the middle of both of them.
17
was
split.
Well, I mean,
through.
You need to get a lotto ticket because even when you stop, there are so many things that could happen to you. I am fortunate that you didn't die.
This will be fun.
And funny enough, like honestly, you would have been the right car to hit if you were going to hit a car in this situation. Because we've overcooked it and everything, and we're not going to make the corner, and we're nowhere online, and there's no we're dead. We're dead and buried, and they've written the obituary, and they've told our parents. So we might as well bail out and hit something that's probably going to be moving more straight, which would have been you more than anything else. So you got super lucky.
Yeah.
You got super lucky because he kept trying to make the corner when he shouldn't, and you were just far enough behind that the collision made it so you could clear it. So you and I need to go get a Mega Millions ticket because.
So.
Yep.
If you're the green car in that situation, let's say it's not intentional, you missed your braking point.
Sure.
What's the good thing to do there?
Bail to the outside, because continuing to try to make the corner is never really going to work, and a blow through the chicane is only going to put the car that's still trying to turn at some risk because he doesn't have enough time to realize that you screwed up. He shouldn't care for that. So,
Yeah, okay.
you know, it's one of those ones where the car, this car here that's about to get killed, whoever this gentleman is, yeah, he's turning for his corner. He has no idea. This is just coming out of nowhere. So he
Yeah,
can't
okay.
he can't adjust for it or even dump to the chicane because he's just accosted, right? So the 23 ideally should at least try to center the car up. And honestly, if I had been in this car's position, I would have aimed for the 17 because I'm already past the point of no return. This is already going to be a crash no matter what. I'm gonna hit something. So
So you
I'm
just choose who you're wrecking. I gotcha.
yeah. This is literally a choice of who am I going to wreck. Am I going to wreck the car up front and maybe take out 3 cars, or am I going to hit the 17 and maybe we both might go straight, depending on
No,
how.
no, no, no. Don't hit the 17.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no.
come
Maybe hit the
on.
17. Maybe hit 17. Right?
Let me
Yeah.
can I interject something here real quick?
Sure.
This is one of those things he's driving pissed off
Mm-hmm.
right off the bat.
Mhm.
He's already missed the corner before. He's in the dirty side of the track. He has dirty tires coming out of turn 3 or 4. So really when it comes down to it, he needs to have just backed out, let these 2 go by, don't bother racing anybody.
Yep.
Because at this point you've already lost the positions, live to fight another day.
Yep. Yep.
Because I mean, you've got dirty tires, and if nothing else, you've probably gained another quarter of an inch of dirt and garbage and everything else on the tread, and it's getting worse the longer he runs on the left side of the track here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is, you should have backed out and let them have their fight.
Not to.
But if
Not,
17's not there, you go to the right and just sacrifice yourself in the guardrail. But this is the worst scenario right
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna hit
Because you,
someone.
like Davin said, you're going to hit somebody. You got to pick one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The thing about this sort of track, to be honest, guys, it's what I like to call a death spiral track. It's tight, it's narrow, the curves just keep coming. There's never really a place for a break. Cars are always going to come faster than you when you screw up. And so the only thing you can really do when you make a big mistake is take a big ass breath and get over it. So like when I say deal with it.exe, this is a premier example where you have to just get over it.
Yeah, live to fight another day.
Yeah, or maybe just
Yeah,
next
right
week,
on.
maybe, right? Because no, seriously, because the thing is, all the cars behind you are going to have a change in speed for a while. You're just going to be limping for a little while, and so you can't get mad. And to be completely honest, you can use faster cars to slow down the cars in front of you. If you're driving pissed off, kind of blocking the way in this sort of track, you're only hurting yourself because we're just going to queue up behind you, and then it's going to be worse if and when you get past because it's just this freight train, right? Get offline, clean off your tires. I know, most of the time I say don't get out of the way, but this is one of those tracks where if you've just screwed it up, give yourself a mental reset, right? It's less about position, it's less about your state of mind, right? And just chill out for 2 corners, 3 corners, get back into a rhythm and try again. Because probably they're going to wreck each other anyway, so it won't matter.
Deha, just to answer your question in chat, yes, me. Mr. Forster.
One last thing before I move on, guys. And this is not necessarily just for this incident, but look how far past what is basically the braking marker he is on the inside.
Yeah.
You know, he's only just getting on the brakes now. You know, he's not even full brakes, and he's you know, maybe even past the 75-meter board. So yeah, don't attempt that.
Can I ask you guys a question? Just a general question for the class. How many of you people have bailout points around the track?
Somewhere to go when you know you fucked up.
No, not even. Just a braking zone to pick for a bailout. Right? So like going around turn 7, there's a red and white markings on the wall over there. There's the gray patch before it turns red and white. That's my bailout zone where I get on the brakes and I know for sure I'm always going to stop. It doesn't matter what happens. I'm always going to make the corner. It may not be the fastest, but I'm going to make it every single time so that if I have to then push a little deeper or adjust for something, I know I have some space because this is all about giving your car space, right? If you have good reference points on the track, and more importantly, have good bailout markers like the giant Yokohama sign that is behind you. So if Josiah, if you can find anywhere on the track where any car is going into turn 5, then this will kind of drive the point home.
All right, I will do my best.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what car. Yeah, it doesn't matter what car it is. It can just be anyone that's in turn 5 right now.
A follow-up question to that. I don't necessarily have I don't know if I know what you mean, but I mean, I have a point where I say, okay, I'm not going to any longer attempt the turn, and I just break down real hard in a straight line and then turn late.
Yeah,
and I
no,
get up there.
I see what you're saying, but no, I mean, like, I know for sure I'm going to make the corner. This isn't an emergency bailout. This is more of an emergency stop.
Where do you want the camera, Devin?
Back it up just a little bit. So click the R button, or do that, yeah, and then slow it down just a little bit, like half speed, and then that'll work. Yeah, we'll get there eventually. And look to the wall on the left. Can you get rid of the HUD for me, please? Sorry, I know I'm bossing you around, being a dick.
Nah, it's
Yeah,
all
there
good.
you go. All right, now play it forward. See how the wall is gray? Gray, gray, stop. Stop. See where it turns red and white? That will never move forever. Forever, for never, forever, ever, never, forever. So I can use it as a permanent reference point, as a place to like to bail out of. Chasing cars. I'm not sure where my breaking point is. Kind of lost it to pay attention. Like all of these factors, right? A car that's screwed up in front of me, because that happened a ton in my race, right? If I get on the brakes here, I am going to stop. And no car is going to make it around me because it's a tight chicane on the other side, and I can park it on either apex, and they have to just suck it. Everyone probably should work on backing up their corners and working their way in rather than going deep. Because if you could roll this forward a little bit, Josiah. All right, stop. You have no room to do anything anymore. None. You can't really slow down
Exactly.
anymore. Nothing. Nothing. You have run out of space. Like, we are past that point on the track where physics has said no, and now physics is just mockingly laughing at you, hoping that you'll make it. Because you have no room. And so now, oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Devin, that was a really good point about, because as rookies we all drive too deep in the corner to begin with, and then we back up.
Yep.
We need to do it the opposite. That's a really good point.
Yeah. Break early. Don't die. Especially like on Zolder, right? We've sort of picked tracks that have gotten increasingly tighter because I'm trying to drive this point to you guys that breaking late gains you very, very, very little. But early on the power and clean exits are key, and laps where your car isn't broken is amazing. So instead of trying to dive into the bottom of the corner, I mean, like, and even if we think this through, right? What could you gain from going deeper here? You can't get on the power any sooner. You can't turn because you're going in too fast. You have less room to adjust because the rate of speed is higher. There is no benefit for doing this, except it looks cool for half of it, right? So if you, especially on Zolder, because Zolder is one of those tracks that everyone gets all caught up amongst themselves and they're driving as deep as possible for some reason, and they don't have an emergency exit road, and so they drive past the 100-meter board or the giant sign on the wall, or like really big obvious markers that we haven't been looking at for about a week. If you have a bailout point, especially if you don't know your opponent, you can stop there and just watch them and see if they kill themselves, and it's safety for you because you're going to stop. And like that's why I'm insinuating it, like pushing that point so much, because most folks aren't thinking about like where can I stop and just not die. And I think that's a sim racing thing, to be honest, because you don't have the fear of like wrecking your car. Where I'm sure if you were in a real car, you would be laughing at me like, haha, Devin, I don't want to wreck my expensive shit. That's stupid. Why would I do that? Right? So 7. Well, actually, to be honest, 2, 5, 7, 9, 13 all have bailout points. The early points where like you can see the 100-meter board and you back that up a beat before the 100-meter board and you'll stop no matter what. Use that as a point of no return.
Yeah, the whole idea is slow in, fast out. Remember, your exits are the optimal thing that you need to pay attention to, but you have to be down at speed, controlled in, crossing your apex properly, and on throttle at or before apex, which makes your exit faster and the straightaway even better.
TLDR, slow in, fast out, rather than fast in and dead out.
Exactly.
I'll say
and
the
you're
same
not
point.
chasing the car too.
I'll say the same point another way and a little tidbit at the same time. Braking as late as possible should basically be the last thing you're doing in your skill progression, because like Davin and Larry have said, you stand to lose way more than you're going to gain by braking that 2-3 meters later. The other thing that it does is because you're coming into the apex, the entry, apex, and exit of the corner just a little bit slower, you actually are able to learn how to negotiate those 3 phases of the corner better than you can if what you're basically just trying to do is get the car completely stopped and stop it from flying past the corner, because then all you're doing is slowing down too much and just turning. So you're not actually learning what's happening in the mid corner phase. The mid corner phase is extremely important. That's how you get the car set up at the apex and then the exit to get a good exit. And as we all know, the exit is super, super important. So if you're not learning what to do in that mid corner phase, you're not going to progress very far. So you're really hurting yourself by trying to brake 1 or 2 meters later rather than just braking a tiny little bit earlier. And then you can feel the car through the apex and the exit, and you'll get faster that way. Braking, threshold braking is really the last thing that you should be focusing on.
Like the last thing. Like you're braking late. You're braking late when like you've nailed it and you can hit the same lap over and over again and you have nothing else to do.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Also, there's a bit of a safety component in here besides the not killing yourself part that's super important. So when you're chasing multiple cars, right, like we always keep talking about how you need to give yourself at least a car width's back of space to accommodate for the car in front of you that's at a slower speed than you, right? So if cars are in front of you, let's say like these two cars are here, right? And if they crash or spin or get in the way or come to a stop or do anything, if you brake as late as humanly possible as if you were alone, you have no time or space to avoid anything. Just by the laws of physics, you have gone in on a qualifying lap at full speed, full send, no matter what happens in front of you. And so you are more likely to hit the object in front of you because you have not given yourself any time to maneuver. There are a couple times I'll find it on my laps later, like where I was following Bobby. Dude, I had that brake covered like a good 25 feet before. And would like cover the brake a little bit and kind of watch to see if he'd slow down. He'd go to the brakes, I go to the brakes. And then I could follow him through the chicane on his bumper. Because I gave myself...
Do you know what lap? I might try and pull it up.
Maybe we could find one. I can't go through the replay right now because I'm also sharing on top of it. But you could probably find
recording.
and recording. But you could probably go to me and find the first 4 or 5 laps, and it might work okay, somewhere in there. Yeah, anywhere where I'm chasing Bobby. Yeah, this will probably work. Yeah,
I have a dive bomb which did work. Which,
We'll find it later.
Also, like neat. Seeing the purpose of everything I'm talking about, but neat.
Well, that's Sika.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, can we play that back? Can we play that back? Because actually, there's something about maneuvering traffic I want to talk about. Can you go from the outside? Bobby, my man, by the way.
Yes, sir.
My man, that move right there. I was clapping you. Right here. This move going on the inside of 1. That was brilliant. That was a brave move, and it helped me because it slowed him down.
Thank you.
My man. When you went into 1, I was like, I'm gonna be passing someone in 2. Oh yeah, my man.
Is that me?
Yeah, I think so. Or is it Simone's? Maybe it's Simone's. Well, whoever the 44 is, that person gets a reward. Maybe it could be you later.
Yeah, that was Simone's.
Yeah, but whoever this was, the 44, that was a bold move, and it also helped me because it put Sika offline, so I could maneuver my way through without having to do anymore. That was really
I did make a couple passes there, but I thought that one wasn't me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see you being
whoever I was racing did a great job going side by side through there. They were awesome.
I thought it was you. I wish it was you now because I gave you a lot of big ups, but I'm sure you did something good. All right, let's go back to the chicane a little bit and see if you can find
Could I just quickly have 2 bobs worth? I have to leave. Did you say, Davin, that you were recording this for later looking at?
Yep.
Okay, that's good because I'd really like to check up on all the debriefs later when I've got a bit more time. But thanks very much to everybody today. It was good.
No worries, man.
Cheers.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Jeff. Have a good one, man.
Thanks,
man.
Jeff.
Have a good one.
See you later.
All right, Devin, where'd you want me?
Let's see. If we're in traffic fighting Sika, go back like a lap. Do like lap 4 because I got caught up with the 44 really early. Yeah. Go to the middle part of this because you're coming into turn 9 right here, so this should work. Yeah, this will go. Either I did it well or I fucked it up, so we'll use either one for an example. So I'm on the brakes right when the paint changes. So I can curb. Hello. I have all the time in the world now, right? Because I've given myself time to let the car roll itself through the corner. There's no point to accelerate because there is a car there. And now I have full control rolling off the hill, right? Same here. You brake a little early and you can stay with him. And now I don't have to do anything. Braking early is a huge skill that most people go the other way. And it's a skill you have to unlearn because it doesn't gain you anything. If I brake late, I smash into the back of him. and that just is awful, right? Plus, psychologically, it's intimidating, right? Because you're already on the brakes and you're gaining on the guy in front because he's kind of outbraked himself. So most drivers are kind of looking in the mirrors, going, "Oh," which means they're not looking at the road, which is bad.
Exactly.
All right, find someone else.
Who's
Luke
next?
has one at 654, car number 43.
Early. 43, we said?
Correct.
Oh, it's pre-race. Sorry.
Oh, you're doing so great.
I don't know what we're looking for. He doesn't have it listed. It's just a time and a place.
That free race start was hilarious, by the way.
Doink.
Oh no.
That was it.
Oh no, it gets worse. Oh,
Doink.
that's
Oh,
right,
no.
because I came through this. Actually, no, go find me. Go find me right now. Because this is the perfect.
Actually,
Yes,
I knew SimOS was trouble way before.
Yeah.
Third event.
And the first, in the second corner, I
126.
knew he was trouble.
Because I had gotten on the brakes really early, and I saw this, and I'm like, no,
You
we're
can go
gonna.
back further than Davin too, because it got me, and I was behind him.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of why braking early helps. There's a train of cars here. There's no way that I'm ever going to be able to do anything about it. So I get on the brakes and I'm looking at this crowd and I'm like, why are we going 3 wide into a chicane? Oh God, there's a crash. Oh God, I need to get close enough so that they don't pull into my line of fire. Okay, I'm going to get a small hit, but that's okay. And then I just kind of stayed over to where I was. But at least the crash was minimized because everyone else is trying to scramble to get out of the way. So I need to put myself in a place where the impact is going to be the least.
And I looked to the grass on the right-hand side of this.
Oh yeah, I was
Right.
racing you, Larry, on the grass. So.
Go back a couple more points.
That had a bigger follow-on effect than what you'd expect.
Oh.
Further down the pack, if you go to like car 34, follow that section.
Hey,
Yeah.
Gavin,
Yes.
that crash that we just looked at, I gave you your spot back about 3 turns later.
You did. You were really great about it. Yeah, I'm not even mad at you.
Oh, good. Thanks.
No, I'm not mad at all, man. First of all, rookie classes, if they're going to be crashes, it's going to be this one. And you did. So I'm not mad about it.
Oh, hang on. I think I had 35 this week.
Depends on how you came into the server, but yeah, it's Felton.
Yeah, Felton,
Oh,
35
there we go.
this week.
If anything, it was kind of funny because like we spent all this time talking about giving each other space, and I see each other attacking in the tightest place on the track, and I'm like, that's not what we talked about. Okay.
I did
Breaking
not
early.
find
You
that
gotta-
really funny. Because I braked early, I made everything to avoid the people in front.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I was good, and then all of a sudden I got rear-ended and
You-
bumped the guy in front of me, and
Mhm.
caused another chain reaction right in there too.
My start.
Who caused it?
I went wide around this and made up 6 places on that wreck.
Nice. Yeah, it's not
It
this
worked
one.
out for someone at least.
I think it's Monroe, maybe. No.
He did. If you look at what that car 44 did in turn 2, maybe at dirty tires. I don't know.
Mm. So
Because he was completely out.
the 24 I remember because he pulled an awesome move on me later. So try the 24. Yep. And then
Just here?
Yeah, let's keep that going. Let's play that in. Yeah.
Oh,
There we go. Yep, it's the 2.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It's the 2. Yep, the 2's outbraked itself by a mile.
Okay, let's go on board with the 2 here just to see what it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not gonna be pretty.
No. No, it's really not.
Oh, Dean. Oh, Dean. Oh, Dean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
oh,
went
Dean.
too
no.
deep here.
Oh, Dean! Oh, Dean! And it was funny because
I went too deep.
So close.
I saw your car, and you know what I said the whole time? I'm like, no! Barcelona! No!
Yeah, totally my bad. And then I shouldn't have turned back in again too and hit him the
that was the
second
thing
time. That was my
the
fault.
thing that killed me. But I mean, it looked like you were trying to correct the slide
Vincent,
there.
Josiah,
Yeah.
backing up a little bit, but just before, watch where he initiates the brake.
Yeah,
Over the
that's what
hill.
I was looking for there.
Yeah. Well, and it's twofold, right? It's braking too late, and then it's trying to fix a corner that's already gone. Mistakes are in the
Yeah.
past. Mistakes are in the past. Like you fuck it up,
Okay.
just drive through and leave.
Yeah, he's on regular pace lap here because this is the same wall that Davin was talking about. If you look to the left, The red and white has already started in his windscreen on the left-hand side. He's already late to begin with.
Well, and he's late because he's got a whole parking lot of Fred Meyer traffic in front of
Right.
him. Like, it's just like he's so late, right? And the thing is, on the opening lap, like I qualified terrible, so I was on the brakes so early. I actually got passed by a lot of cars that were driving into these vortexes
That's
of
helmet
death,
cam.
and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you don't want to watch this one. This is helmet cam. It'll make you vomit when he hits the brakes.
Yeah. I just want to point out, if you are following an incident like this, let's just pull up. Let's see here. We're in the let's go to 44. So you see, and he's late on the brakes too, to be fair. Actually, he's quite late. You know what? That's kind of tough because he doesn't see it until there.
Yeah.
I'll give him a break on that because that's
Well, so Josiah, I will say one thing though. There is certain amount of anticipation and risk management that you need to be better at the starts, right? So, like, just because just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? Just because you can go late, just because you can follow a car in front of you, doesn't mean you should, because you don't know what's gonna you don't know what's going to happen in front of you. You can kind of anticipate it a little bit, but you don't really know. And so it's a little bit of risk management, right? Like, can we pause it just before the entry of the chicane?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'd rather pause it with not moving pictures, but it also serves a point.
Just quick question on this.
further.
I fully accept that I messed up and that was my fault for hitting him. Would that, if this was like a regular league race, would I have gotten a penalty for that?
You probably would have got.
Yes.
Michael, you had to ask.
Yeah.
This is blatant, man.
I guess, buddy, in what world would that ever have been okay?
This is just one of those. They would have called it out of control driving.
Yeah,
if nothing else.
Fair.
Yeah, they would have called it.
Who's talking there?
Dean.
Oh, it's Dean. Okay, yeah, that probably would have been a drive-through.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea.
Avoidable.
Of what it would have been, yeah.
Avoidable. Like
contact,
they would have written avoidable contact ... duh, and then submitted it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Makes sense.
I
He
know
most
I'm
probably
late.
would have got a 10-second, but yeah.
I know I'm late coming to the rookie stuff, everything y'all taught them. I'm sure y'all have covered like passing when it's okay to pass under yellow, like a car that's looking backwards down the track. That's okay to pass him. But is there a scenario in here where we might have, just somebody not being aware of passing under yellow? I don't know. I'm just when it's because you're not supposed to pass under yellow. If a car's off the track, you can pass.
Right.
If they're out of control, sliding.
Well, so yellow flags in this league is kind of more of a cautionary tale, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of like a heads up, don't be dumb, but that's it. But
Okay.
but to that point, right? This is back to my just because you can doesn't mean you should. Okay, we are in the 44. There are 7 cars in front of us right now, and I can control none of them. We're on the opening lap of a 40-minute late race, and this is more for the rest of the group, less for you, Bobby. But like, we're in the opening lap of a 40-minute race. I don't need to pass any car here because I'm not gonna ever, right? And there's a better chance I'm just gonna catch this group, if at the minimum, at the minimum. So why give myself the extra risk of being close to them? I'm not gonna gain anything. And any of these cars that get into an incident are most likely going to hit me because the race hasn't spaced itself out yet. My first lap, typically, I don't start attacking people to the very end of the first lap unless we're just like in a fist fight right away. If I can help it, I wait for cars to settle out at least one lap because then that way they're spaced out enough that I can negotiate next to them and we're not caught up in something dumb that neither of us can control. Because there's a lot of like things I can't control that could happen in here, and that crash is exactly one of those, right? I'm 20th right now because I was giving up spots because I saw everybody charging into the death zone, and I just didn't feel like doing it. So I was like, fine, right? And then I watched everyone dive to the bottom of the chicane, and I said, where does the road go, guys? It tightens, and there's a giant wall with a Thrustmaster sign. Like, there's no cool exit you're gonna get. Flying out of
last week we had a pile up in the opening laps, and I went back in the replay and watched, and everybody did a real good job. Nobody passed illegally under the caution. It's just I'm just trying to help you guys help. That's all I'm doing.
Oh yeah,
But,
no worries, Bobby.
No worries about it. Yeah. Well, and it's a fair thing too. Like, if you're if you're attacking a car and there's a set of yellows in front, it might not be a good idea to attack because you don't know if cars are trying to get back on the track to fix their
Right.
mistake, right? And so, like, yeah, the yellow flag for me, especially when I'm farther back in the field, could be the maybe I don't pass here, maybe we just stay together. Because me being offline could be someone coming back on the road also offline because they're trying to stay off the racing line, and I just smash right into them. And
Yeah,
so,
guys, if you
yeah,
when
go
you
ahead.
move on to another league, like if you start moving up and you pass under yellow and get caught, it's definitely not going to be worth that pass. I promise you.
Not to turn the crosshairs to me, but if you go up, I'm Nielsen446.
Oh,
Did I
let's do-
break early? I was right ahead. I
let's-
might have caused.
Oh, okay. Can I help you with the choice of words that you picked?
Sure.
You breaking early has nothing to do with anyone else, or sorry, you don't have to worry about breaking early. Everybody else has to accommodate for you. So that is never your fault. You can break wherever the hell you want to. So if you need to slow the car down, you need to slow the car down. And everyone else around you needs to be able to adapt and give space for what you may or may not do. But there is no rule of where you have to break anywhere on this racetrack, really ever at all. Right?
Also, you didn't break early.
No. No, you didn't. No, you did
You
not.
break perfect.
Maybe
Yeah.
compared to what you would be doing on a regular hot lap, but in traffic on the first lap, no. You,
No.
you
Actually, let's go to the outside.
You have etiquette.
You are the smartest breaker of this group. This is what that is. Right? Go back out. Go back out. I want to
This probably caught out the gold car behind you, though, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't worry about him. He is
Yeah.
behind you.
Yes.
So it is his job to worry about the bright green thing that is doing something.
You should not. Well, I don't know. In first lap, I do not expect the car in front of me to hit the regular breakpoint, but to brake earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially into this corner. This one and turn 3 or 4 or whatever it is would be the two places where you would expect there to be the most backup.
Right.
Because it's so slow through these corners. So
Right.
you're expecting people to break, to break quite early.
Well-
and honestly, you didn't even back anyone up. This is unfortunately it's just a misjudgment.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
even the 24 wasn't scared off here. He closed up a little, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, also now that he's getting hit, he's got to minimize that side G, right? So he shouldn't do any avoiding action because then his car's going to get out of control when he gets hit. So he's kind of got to grind up against the 2 now to make sure that his car is still facing straight in some capacity in some way, right? So there's I guess, and then this isn't to pick on you, Dean, but I do want to use this as a really good example. When you are setting up a pass, and we'll do a clinic on this later because Josiah and I have been talking about this for weeks. When you are setting up a pass, you need to think about where your car is going to be at every phase of the corner because you are responsible for the activity that you are creating. And so a lot of people just kind of like dive into the corner and then hope the guy next to them will kind of get out of the way, and they put all the responsibility on the other car to like see you or move or like what. No. All the responsibility is on you. So you have to predict where your car is going to be in the beginning and the end. And that's why in some cases it is just never worth it to try a move like this. Because like, where's your car going to go? Absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this is not just a pick on you. A lot of people do this. Right? They focus so much on getting them on the entry when the pass is only like half done, and it's really just a delayed accident. Because the car that they're trying to pass can't see them, doesn't have enough room, can't adjust, and you hit them, and then you're backwards, and it's right. So you've got to visualize the exit before you make the dive.
You should see the pass Dean made later in the race. It was amazing, Davin.
I like amazing passes.
I'm gonna see if I can find.
Well, can I just add a little comment to something that was said previously?
Yeah, go ahead. While I
can't
find this, go ahead.
So you can brake early if you want to in a braking zone, but please, if you do brake on a straightaway, like not even near a corner on the racing line, you are going to get the penalty for whatever we call it, unpredictable driving. Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. If there's like no braking zone there, yeah, or like a brake check, yeah, that's hella fair. Yeah. I'm thinking about like if the braking zone is normally at the 100 and you brake at the 110 or the 120 just to save face and not die. Woohoo! But like if you're in the middle of a straight and you get on the brakes, you're just dumb and deserve whatever you get. So,
Josiah, are you looking for our overtake?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm looking for.
That is lap 12.
12. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he had sent me that, and I missed it.
Oh, I see a
Okay,
car getting past.
so this is maybe a counterpart to what we're just talking about, and it turns out it's in the same area of the track.
Imagine
So I see that he gets out of shape here, so I know I've got to run. Actually, let's just speed up a little bit
Especially
here.
when you're looking at the passenger side door.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a lot out of
We
shape.
were a Formula D car for a little bit there.
So
Ooh, that was tidy.
here, this. Oh, you're gonna find out what happens at the end. This obviously, I know going in here, I sort of had the advantage, but not totally because he has the inside line and I'm not fully past him. So I know that I still
3/4 maybe.
Yeah. I know that I still owe him some respect and space here. And I also know that I'm going right and then left, and that he's going to have a better right than I am because he's on the inside, unless he breaks really early. And I have a feeling he's not going to do that. So I'm being very cautious into this corner. I'm fully on the brakes already. And here, I still know he's there. I can hear him. And at this point, he's farther alongside me. So this is not quite his corner, but it's pretty close. I don't have a right here to just turn in and hope that he backs out. So continue round. I'm a little bit wide
on the marbles.
On the marbles, and he gets through. Now that's fair.
But also,
and then I try and
also sketch as hell though, but awesome.
It's sketchy,
Mhm.
but the whole point of this is what I'm thinking is I'm not just thinking about the right hander here, is I'm thinking about the left and the right after that. And so that's how you need to not just plan your passes, but think about the whole racecraft and door-to-door racing, because you can't just, it's not a one corner thing where that's and whatever happens after that is not your fault. It's a complex. You're on a track, you're on a full lap, so you have to think about that and give the guy the room that he deserves, even though you might be slightly ahead at that point.
Right.
I had the advantage, but I didn't want to press it, and I didn't want to end up in contact. And we both lived to fight another day, and we had a great battle. But this is where you want to think a few corners ahead. And at this point, I kind of knew the chances of me actually getting this place are really small because of how tight this right-hander is, and he still's got the inside.
There's also a little bit of it like we'll figure it out when we get there that you can't plan. So you
Yes,
shouldn't make this the primary plan A. This is like plan J, right?
Yeah,
Because like what if
exactly.
because like again, what if Josiah stopped? What if Josiah decided to turn in? What if Arjun missed his breaking point because he just didn't have a plan when he got there? Like there's a lot of that could happen. And so it worked, but I put it under the category of sketch as hell. Please don't do that again. Because
So
right?
what ran through my mind when I overtake him is that I was expecting Josiah to like take the apex, so I kind of cut the inside chicane, and
Sure.
then I literally put my wheel in the outside to give him as much space as possible, because I
smart.
don't know if he's gonna be beside me,
Yeah.
or if he's gonna back out. So I decided to give him as much of a
Yep.
space as possible.
That's smart. Yep. At that
Yeah.
point, screw whatever ACC says. Survive. Let the game yell at you. Drive away.
Exactly, because in these kind of situations, you can't play it so close that the only option is for you to both do it perfectly, because that's 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100 is never going to happen.
Right.
So you have to have some margin for error, and that's that's wheel to wheel racing.
It also depends on the caliber of the driver you're racing with. Because like there are some guys that even I was racing with today that I gave so much margin because I've been hit by them in other races. So I know I
Yeah.
can't be next to them. Right? And like I can go in deeper than them. I can carry in 20 miles an hour faster than the apex, like by a large amount. But I'm still going to run up the back of them because of where I timed my pass. So I had to wait to get somewhere where either there was traffic or I could just roll right by safely, because I knew they were more likely to screw up 99 times out of 10 rather than make it 99 times out of 10.
Yeah. I just want to see
Josiah?
if we can point out, see how early I break here. Yeah, so almost before, I'm kind of halfway through that 100-meter board, and I'm usually braking just after I completely pass it.
Yep.
See? And I'm not even that close to him either. Like, it's just because I want to make sure that I have room to change what I'm doing if I need to.
Right.
And you'll see me come off the brakes early too. Like I know I'm already off them here basically.
That was the rolling through the corner phase that caught him up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the fact that he got sideways.
Yep. Well, and the visual bailout point is the giant big ass Yokohama sign. When you get to the Yokohama sign, you literally should be looking as far ahead as possible, like even farther than you normally are, and say, is there death? And then there are parts. If there is, please stop. If there's not, y'all shall pass. Right? So it's important to have like really big markers because I struggle with small markers in really tight battles like that because I'm focusing on something else or I'm moving too fast or I kind of forget where I am on the racetrack for a split second. And so I need something that's like, duh, obviously big that will never, ever, ever move. So the markings on the left of the wall are perfect because you can never hit them, you can never move them, they're always going to be there. So I can use that as an emergency zone. And if anything, it'll help me refocus before I get back into the braking zone down here to say, hey, stupid, stop your car. Right? I talked myself through that corner a lot of times where I would start to chase someone and overcook the entry, and I'm like, dummy, look at your marker. And I'm like, oh, there it is. There's the idiot line. Cool. I'm gonna stop there.
Yeah, lesson learned today. Stop using shadows as markers.
Yeah.
I was just behind you guys, and I was like, please, please, please crash.
Neary's over here betting with his
die,
please die. Check this out. It was like 2 cars ahead of me, and I was like, there's something going on in there, and I was like, oh, please crash, please crash, please crash, please crash, and it didn't happen. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but Neri, you were smart there to kind of bail out and let the trio of cars do their thing, right? You getting too close only hurts everybody. Because if, let's say, Josiah screws up in the middle, then it's a parking lot. Or if Arjun screws up in the beginning, it's a parking lot, right? You want to be just far enough away that you can move, but just close enough that if there's something being set up, you're the guy.
Yeah, I was driving to the outside of the track just to see my braking mark and just to see what the guys were about to do.
Yeah.
And this is mostly because of the last race that we had.
Yep.
And remember you saying to me, you're like too friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get out there and beat somebody up.
Yeah, you gave up too early. Yeah.
Close the door and be a little bit more aggressive. And this is what I did with Arjun today. I'm not proud of it.
Hey, we
But
both
anyway,
lived. That's what matters.
we both lived just another day.
If you
but
both
anyway.
lived and it was close racing, then you can be proud of it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Some I mean, look, like some racing isn't going to be perfectly clean. It's going to be a little scrubby. It's going to be a little bumpy. And like, if you've got respect, manners cost nothing, right? So if I'm racing a driver that I respect, and we kind of get a little argy-bargy, and there's a little bit of a slide and a little bit of a hit check, that's cool. We're just dirty dancing. It's fine. But if you fucking wreck me, I don't like you.
I've got a good example of being wrecked. Lap 2, first corner.
Car number?
35.
35. Lap 2, first corner. Okay, cool.
Can Josiah find it? Stay tuned.
Probably not. Oh, I got it.
By the way, Neri, did you let us fight at the end of the race? Because we were 3 back markers in front of you. You got us.
It was earlier than this, back at turn 1.
Cheers.
Yeah, Loic, sorry, I've completed the race and I was just following you guys. I didn't want to like meddle with your thing. I was like just following you.
Because I noticed you caught us, but did not to cover
maybe lap
anybody.
3.
Yeah, it was my last lap, so
3 or 4.
We're fine.
Alrighty.
It might be 6 too.
Well,
Potentially
I
7.
have a feeling it's 4 because look how long it is.
Right? There's that big depressing gap. That's over there.
I don't know why that didn't occur to me, but good point.
Off in the grass. Oh my God, he got poked. How the hell did you get poked that quick?
Yeah, who
Back up
touched
to
you?
see who's behind him.
Who's the safety doll? Like, who hit you?
Safety doll.
All I know was a Ferrari. They were behind me, and next thing you know, I am wrecked from behind it, wrecked back into the
Show
car.
me on the doll where the man hit you.
Oh my God.
And you got hit. Boy. That was Busto. Busto hit whoever that was from behind.
When this is done, can we see it again from the car behind? Because
Helicam, this one.
Yeah. Oh.
Go up F3 all the way up over the cars.
No, you sparked the shit out of that game.
Oh, there's another guy in the inside too.
Oh no. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! It's still happening! Oh dear man.
Okay, so
I think
I will make this comment. One,
How about don't hit what you can see?
yeah, that okay. So I'll make another comment.
Sorry, that's funny.
When you see, actually, it's kind of too late already here, but I mean, different people learn this at different speeds. You can already tell
Oh yeah,
that
he's way
35
outside.
is way wide. And what do you know about the exit of this corner? It's
Death.
got sand on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you already know. Granted, you're probably a little bit concerned about what's in your rear view there, but you've already got the apex. No one's going to send it up the inside. You can afford to be a little bit slower on the exit and a little bit tighter just to ensure that this doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's an investment in safety, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know you're going to get the pass already here. Like,
Yeah.
look how wide he is. You just let off the throttle a little bit.
Yep.
Keep the steering wheel locked.
Yep.
You're gonna go straight by him.
Yep.
And honestly, the people behind you are gonna be in a worse situation
Yep.
than you because he might be coming back onto the track because
That
he can't control
that's
the
what I
car.
was thinking. Like, if you're really gonna be a safety, like be safe, but also be a bit of a jerk about it, because the cars behind the 700 are following way too close. When you back up for your own safety and they run up the back of you, you jump on the throttle immediately, and those guys will likely just drive right with you, right into the car that's already off the track. Right? That you can't take care of these people. You have to get safe and you have to get away. So we've all put ourselves in a dangerous situation. I got to get the hell out of there. So bye.
And I mean, honestly, same thing goes for the 234 in this case.
Yep.
You see
And if-
that, you just let off the throttle, crank the steering, and you're good again.
Yep. You put a lot of steering into it too to scrub off as much speed from the front
Oh,
as
yeah.
possible. You scrub the shit out of the front of the car just to get it to slow down, because all you need to do now is get it slowed down.
You definitely don't want to brake in that instance because you've already got the car loaded up on the right front wheel. You touch the brakes and the back end's coming around.
Yeah, the steering wheel is
So-
a brake. The steering wheel
Yeah.
is a brake, fellas. Like, you turn the wheel and it scrubs those tires out of the front of the track, and the car will slow down. So you just yank some wheel in and keep the car balanced, and it'll just don't give it any throttle because the car won't move under throttle. So you'll just scrub and then it'll stop. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Josiah, one other thing here. This actually is an instance of 4 cars all missing their brake point all at the same time. Like, the thing is, unfortunately, like, I mean,
know I screwed my braking point massively,
and
I was content to roll up along the edge of the road. I was off, let those guys through, and then come back on.
Yeah, totally. If all of them had braked at a safe spot, that would have been a great plan. But nobody did. So it kind of became this like, and then, and this is back to that whole brake early thing we were talking about, right?
Yeah, I think partly what this is the guys aren't quite sure where the braking marker or the braking zone is for this corner.
Right.
Because turn 1 is a bit difficult unless you get the car slowed down. If you get the car slowed down properly, you can put it wherever you want.
Yep. And I struggle with turn 1 often. There's a 100-meter board on the left, and then there is a area on the right-hand side where the barriers go from black to blue. And if you get the braking done kind of between that in that zone, the car will slow down. I mean, yeah, when it's optimal, the track is rubbered in and you can see these brake markers, and so like you just look down and you'll see them, but you can't rely on that. You have to have a feel for it of where you need to go. And so, this is an instance of 4 cars all trying to brake late when there's no need to. Because if you brake early, are these cars going to get away from you? No. You're doing like 100 bajillion miles an hour. Like, you're not going to get that far away. They're going to maybe get a little bit, if anything. And in this case, they all crashed. So the car in the back, the 144, could have gotten 3 spots easily.
Can we do a little bit of a heli cam from before the start finish line?
What car do you want on?
No, same lap, but just one of them in the near the start finish line. What I was going to show is most of the guys I've been talking to, I've been telling them that they're the black flags that are on the right hand side. If you'll pause it here, pause it right there. See the black flags that start to show up in the top right hand portion of if you follow the black portion of the wall a little further down, you'll start to see the flags are starting to get taller. There's the big banner that goes across the track. If you brake near the last 2 flags, it's almost dead nuts across from the 100-meter board. I know it's weird but everybody that I've had to work with, if you start to break at the last two flags that are on the right-hand side, and you can sight these from the last corner all the way down the front straightaway, you can pick them out from a distance. And then when you start to look towards apex, it goes by in your peripheral and you can't miss it.
Right.
Because you've already picked it up with your brain.
Well, and also too, when I see things like this happen, what this tells me is through maybe no fault of anyone's own, but we have not practiced finding alternative places to break at any time during practice ever. Because typically, what ends up happening when like all bunch of cars
Right
break as a
there.
group, yeah, see where the barrier changes from black to blue.
Right.
Right,
I'm
like-
having them break just a little bit behind that to get them slowed down.
Yeah.
So they can turn in, and then you tailor it a little further forward.
Yeah.
Yep. Right, and also
I'm breaking wrong on that turn.
Also, there's that
Most people are, to be honest.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's really hard. And the part that's embarrassing is that there's a big ass banner that says "State of Art Racing" right there that will never move, that you could use as a revel point to get on the brakes to practice, but no one ever uses it. They drive right underneath it, and I'm like, "Did you look at the banner, the big blue and orange one?" And they're like, "What banner?" I'm like, "The one that's always in your face." And they're like, "No." And I'm like,
That
"What?"
giant sign.
The giant sign. Right? Like if you find a way to hit this, I will fly to your house and I will cook you a dinner. Like that would be amazing. It's never going to get hit. It's never going to move, right? So it's a good reference point to adjust your braking from, right?
Even if you use it, you could use it in your peripheral vision above, as the banner disappears out of the windshield. That's when you brake.
That's when you brake. Or if you're 3 wide, 4 wide, or not 4 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide, and you're offline by a large amount, right? Because a lot of people, what they do is they pick their braking point under ideal conditions, right? They never think about where do I need to brake when I'm not in ideal conditions, and then they get not in ideal conditions, and then they totally guess, and then they hope they make it, and then sometimes they don't. But if you use a permanent marker, at least you can be like, hey man, if I brake kind of early before the state of the art, right, like racing sign, I can adjust as this other car is kind of finagling its way to the outside, but I'm gonna live. Right? So finding big like markers if they're available is a godsend.
This is the one that.
Go ahead, Neri.
Sorry. No. I was about to say this is the one that I use for braking marker at the first turn. This blue one here, because of the first track that we go whenever we go on the offline. Was that the anyway, the career mode? This is the first track.
Yeah, this is the first track. Zolder's the first track.
Yeah, I was just checking and I saw like many videos on YouTube saying, hey, you can brake a little bit before this blue thing, like huge thing in front of you. And I was like, okay, that's a point.
Yeah. So
But
I mean,
anyway.
especially in a house of practice, honestly, my first 10 laps when I drive around a racetrack are slow as hell. They're like fifth gear, just looking at stuff, and then
Coasting.
and then when I finish that lap, I go into the replay cam and I stop at every corner and I look around in free cam. Like, Josiah, can you hit F7 for me? I think that should be free cam for you too. Yeah, there you go. You're in a giant free cam. You can fly around the whole world. You're on the highest rate of speed because you're.
I just did.
Yeah, exactly. You just flew out into space. But if you use a trackball on your map, it'll slow down your camera speed.
There we go. It went the wrong way.
That's all good.
Oh no, it's having trouble.
Well, yeah, because you're in the Matrix, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. The fact is, F7 in the free cam will get you to fly around. That is a great time, because Larry did this to me. We were doing some laps on Zolder. I was having trouble braking for the chicane. Josiah's stuck in the Matrix, and as he was talking to me, I literally was just looking around, looking at the wall, looking at the sand, looking at the posts, looking at the trees, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Oh shit! There's that giant marker board over there." So I went around every corner on the track and just looked at stuff. It was a virtual track walk, right? It's a very useful thing to do because you can at least have a reference point to start. Like nobody notices the giant Marshall post on turn 2 on the left. Never do. They drive right by it every single lap, and they're like,
"Oh, you're talking about the big white house."
The big
on the
white
left-hand
house,
side.
yeah, it's a big white
Okay.
house, and they're like, "I never saw that," and I'm like, "Why?"
Because you're not looking at it. It's not on the apex side.
Yep. So virtual track walk will help you. Plus, that gives you a bit of a reference of bailout of how much space you actually have. You know, so it does nothing but looking around does nothing but help you, and more people need to take time to look. Like they need to take time to read.
Yeah, if you're
Okay,
old
let's
like me
see.
and you do track walks
I'm
all
going
the
to
time.
reboot the game because I think that completely shut it down. I will be right back.
You broke it.
I broke it.
What?
Well, certainly did.
Josiah has bricked his PC.
Yeah, it's all gone. Actually, it's really gone.
Devin,
Neary.
is that a post on third two?
Say again?
You mentioned
Turn
some-
2? No,
you mentioned-
there's a great big white house on the left-hand side that is technically where the marshal's stand is for the flagman. If that's what
Really?
you're talking about, yeah. It's
yeah.
on,
It's a
it's on
big.
the, it's
It's
on
a
the outside.
big ass house, man. Like it's a big Marshall post. It's a big Marshall post, and like you can't miss it, but everyone does. And I'm like, why don't you use that as a point to adjust your braking going into 2? And they're like, I've never seen this house before. And I'm like,
I've never.
yeah, see, there you go. See, right there. You've never seen this house before. I'm like, why?
It's only the braking marker for the corner, so if you haven't seen it, I don't know how you are driving.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also use the rubber on the track.
But what happens when the rubber's gone?
And there's a car directly in front of you.
I'm driving on the rubber.
You
Yeah,
can't
so
see the
I have-
can't see the blacktop or the tarmac if there's a car in front of you. There's paint in front of you.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I have like 2 braking references.
Yeah.
One
Per
is
corner.
like the rubber on the track is one of them, and then like fixed points of braking. And
Sure,
then I
sure.
know that if I'm following someone, I have to brake earlier.
Yeah.
So I anticipate his moves, and for example, I know if it's a Ferrari, he's gonna brake or tend to brake a little bit later
Mhm.
than the Mercedes. So I just know when it's gonna break. Or
Yeah, no,
sort of.
no, you nailed it, right? Because it's like you should have at least 2 points to break. You should have your aggressive by myself breaking point. Then you should have the I need to bail the hell out of here breaking point, where I'm with somebody else, they're doing something else. Everybody should have 2 of them. Like I don't know why you don't have 2, because if you're driving with someone in front of you and they're driving over the rubber, what are you going to look at besides them? Then you die. And so you need to have a secondary brake marker. You need to have a plan B at all times. And most people
But
don't.
Devin, sorry to interrupt. But how many times we practice that
I don't know. How many times did you practice that?
with you?
No,
that would
just
be
in,
on
in
you.
general. Like in general. I mean, I say
Yeah,
this.
but
I say
he's
this.
not doing your laps for you.
I say this every week. I literally say this every week. I'm just like, you need to back up and have a cars with the space. You need to have an earlier break point. You should break at the 125. I say it every single week. And then people drive like 300 laps and don't do it. And then they hit stuff. And I'm like, okay, I guess we just like hitting things. That's not fun
But
for me.
remember Silverstone, me following you
Mhm.
for I don't know how many laps?
Yeah.
So what did you say to me after the race? Do you remember?
Let me see. If I remember
No.
correctly, I think you were following me and not adjusting well. And so you were just
Yes.
kind of following back with me. You were braking with me rather than driving on your own.
Yes.
I remember
And you
that.
made a lot of mistakes, and I was unable to capitalize on them because I was like braking with you, turning with you instead of following the goddamn lines.
Yep.
And I was like,
And
I
then
gotta keep that.
after a while, I just stopped fixing it because I had an alternative tool in my tool chest. It's Neary's not paying attention, but neither am I. He's just paying less attention than me. So rather than me trying to find the ideal breakpoint and adjust and fix it while we're in the middle of battle, which is not going to happen because I'm going to slow down early and I'm probably going to get passed, and I don't want to do that. I'm just going to keep having him stumble until the race is over, and it's going to be messy, but we're going to get to the end because I'm not crashing. So it's all right.
Yeah.
I'll judge
Yeah,
myself
and we
about
did-
it when the race is over.
If we did that for like 10 laps, and I wasn't able to pass you.
I remember
so.
that race the whole time going, I don't know where to fucking slow down, but thankfully neither does he. That's good. All right, we should probably keep going because if he notices where to slow down, I'm screwed. So off we go.
I
haven't
think
done
he's
that.
back now.
I haven't done that today, my friend.
Good. Learn from the
Good.
pain. Good.
Learning.
Learning.
Yes.
Good. Good. All right, did you fix your stuff, Josiah?
I did, yes.
Oh,
We're good to go again.
Cool. So I'll never have you hit F7 again. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I did it earlier and there was no issue, so I don't know what happened there.
Oh, God.
Okay.
All right, who's next?
Let's see. I have another one for you, sir. Mr. Vincent Stout wants to see 3110 on the timeline and car 863.
Yeah, this was me leaving the pits, and I just wanted to find out how my exit was and make sure that I didn't cause this issue that just happened, because I'm coming out. I tried to hug the inside. I know I'm slower. There's about 4 cars coming, so I just tried to hug the inside, but I kind of got jostled a little bit, and I just wanted to see, if I could have done better.
Not so far.
Maybe lifting.
No, I mean, no. I mean, we're racing, right? So the car behind has to make a choice.
That's
That
was that Carter.
Yeah, it was.
Oh shit!
Oh wow!
I was
I
wondering
think
what
I
happened
was
to him.
behind watching this. No, obviously not.
Yeah, he crowded you. Unfortunately, he thought he could clear you and he didn't.
Yeah, well, at this point, I also remember my computer kind of did a quick stutter.
Sure.
So I wasn't sure if it was me or what went on, but I just know we kind of got into each other, and I just wanted to make sure
Well, can we go back, because there is one thing that I don't. I'm always of two minds depending on the situation. This is literally conditional. Can we back up a little more?
Yeah, sure. How far?
That's about as he comes out of pits. And can we play it slow so that it gives me a little bit of time to talk? So when you're coming out of the pits, one of the things that can be a bit of a challenge is deciding on whether you're going to get on the racing line and back up traffic behind you, or whether you're going to let cars go. And you didn't do anything wrong here. It's just something you should consider when you're leaving the pits, right? A lot of times you see a lot of accidents with cars leaving the pits because they're trying to be like too perfect on the way out, and they go too slow, and then they like jump on the racing line when they're totally parked or something dumb. Where if you can look at the mini map and kind of time the way you roll out of the pits to be at a general kind of speed of traffic, it's like merging when you get on the freeway. This is a merge.
Oh my
Right?
god!
So this is what it is. It's a merge. All you're doing is merging to the speed of traffic. So we need to get you up to the speed of traffic as you're getting into the race again, so that the other cars can kind of negotiate around you. Because it doesn't matter, like the Carter and the car back behind you, you're racing them for position now. So they have to give you the space, and you have the right to corners and all of that stuff, even though you're on low tires.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't. I was coming out. I knew people were coming. I was going to just let off altogether and let everybody pass. But I was like, nah, dude, we're racing. I'm coming out, and I'm going to get my line, but I'm going to take it inside and let you guys pass. But I'm still coming out,
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be frank about it, what's the point of having a good pit stop if you're going to give it up right as soon as you get back on the racetrack?
Yeah.
You just done and did the whole point of doing a good pit stop by just parking, right?
Not only that, you did stay within the lines like you were supposed to, and this Mercedes we're watching right now does give you plenty of room.
Yep.
He does brake a little bit to try and make the car rotate, so you're good here. I mean, this was actually, if anybody wanted to, they could have shoved another car through between you.
Oh yeah, no, really. Like when I was thinking, because I did this on my outlap, I came out on the track and I had cold tires, and I let the car in front of me roll by, and then I jumped right on the racing line and started going. Because if anyone ever runs into the back of me, I literally am going to say, "Don't hit what you can see. You hit a pink car." Right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you have the right, as long as you're not like a lap down or something else like that, you have the right to be on the racing line and do whatever the hell you need to do, right? And they have to negotiate you, so they got to learn to deal with it. So the only thing I'm bringing
Not
up.
to mention the sons of bitch right here. I
Yeah,
can imagine in VR that would probably.
Yeah. So the only thing I'm bringing up is I think you did the right thing here, because the sun's kind of in your way. You've got a big old pack of cars coming. It's probably prudent to let them fight each other, and maybe they'll kill each other. And unfortunately, you kind of got a little nicked. But like, you don't always have to, right? Especially as you get better with pit exits. If you use your mini map and are good at, because I do this in practice all the time, right? I practice in laps and out laps in the house of practice often. So I would roll out like it was a race. I would look at the road in front of me as a car was coming, and I would time when I would roll out of the pit so that I was either right in front or right behind. And depending on what I was trying to do, sometimes I would purposely try to roll out in front so that I could get a sense of what the speed rate was going to be and to see if it was worth it.
You definitely did that to me in the practice.
Yeah, I definitely did that to you in the practice. I hella did that to you.
I was cursing you.
Yeah, I know. I don't care. It was great. I don't care at all. Because I need to know that, right? Because some tracks, it's not worth it to do that. Right? Sometimes the closing speeds are just so damn high that it's not worth it for me to roll onto the racing line like that, because I'm just going to get freight trained and I can't do anything about it. Other tracks where the pit lane speed is slower, totally worth it. Totally worth it. Or like you're got a big gap to the cars in front as they're coming down into turn 1 for braking, and they're gonna see you as they're coming down for braking anyway. Like Nürburgring is a perfect example of that. If I've got a big ass gap, I drive right to the bottom of the corner and park it and turn, because at that point we're all turning for the corner together. So they can't just come in at 1,000,000 miles an hour from the outside of the track, smash into me, and blame me because they hit a parked car. Like, nope.
It's Vincent, right? Stout.
Yeah. Vince is cool.
Okay, cool. So just out of curiosity, were you looking in your mirror at this point and worrying that the two cars behind were coming quick, or were you still focused up front right here?
I wasn't necessarily looking in my mirror, but I was very aware that everybody was there. I was very aware everybody was coming quick and everybody was racing, and I just didn't want to like wreck everybody. You know, dude.
Yeah,
But let's also tie into the vernacular here. You are too, right?
Yeah.
At this point in the race, you are in this race. So like
yeah, which is why I maintained the inside. But I figured, I'm coming out of the pits. I'm not going to be just coming out and racing everybody.
Yeah.
So I was planning on letting everybody by, but I just figured I'd hug the inside, let them all get by, and then get on it to make my run for the chicane.
Yep.
Which was basically what happened. I just, I wanted to make sure that I didn't get into Carter next to me there.
yeah. And honestly, Carter didn't really do anything wrong either. It was just kind of a racing incident where it didn't quite work out. Because honestly, I think anybody that was trying to chase the car in front would have tried to clear you because you're going so slow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of sucked, but it's not like you did anything wrong to him or he like completely crowded you. It was just unfortunate.
So.
Oh yeah. No, I just wanted to make sure that I didn't screw up everybody's race, or make sure that I could have, if there was something that I could have done a little bit better in that situation there for all of us,
Yeah, for sure. Just say you keep saying stuff, but I keep talking over you.
No, it's all good. I personally here probably would have fired it up to the exit of the corner here, like kind of in between the two windmills there. And the reason I would have done that is because you're in third gear here. You're gonna have decent pull out of the corner. And if one of them wants to go by, it's going to be easier for them to go by with the extra speed on the inside than it is for them going to be and trying and hang it out around the outside.
Okay.
So what ends up happening? I mean, we know what ends up happening, but you keep it here and then you let off, and that'll be weird for Carter and whoever's racing with him there, because you're still not fully over on the right, and they're full on the gas here, obviously, and then there's going to be a massive difference in speed, and it almost ends up all right, but you actually, in terms of self-preservation, it might have been better to just, you see him go by and then you just keep going. Like you go out to the outside, start following him, and if they want to come by, they might try and stick it up the inside, but you'll know they're there and you can brake early and let them through. And
I did think about doing that, and that was kind of in my head, because I was like, I was thinking exactly what you were saying. They could probably cut me on the inside a lot better.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to like cut somebody off and cause a wreck that way. So I figured I'm on the inside. I'll just maintain to the inside and keep it that way.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, hindsight obviously is nice. So, you didn't do anything wrong. It's more just, for next time when you're looking at it. But you're right. You gotta be sure that you don't end up coming to the, the edge of the track right as someone else is arriving there too.
Right.
It would be their fault though, because you have track position and you are racing. So it would be their fault. They would have to know that you're entitled to go there.
Yep.
Like if we pull it back, let's just see here. Maybe one more.
Yep.
Let's go full speed.
To Josiah's point, sometimes a deliberate move like that is really good car communication, right? Because you come out of the pits and you're like, "Hey, I'm here," and then if you want to slow down after that, then it's easy to get around you, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But it's all down to your judgment, right? And also who's around you and the timing of it all, and like there's so many things that could have gone different if you had entered a second earlier or a second later, right? So there's not a wrong thing that you did here. It's just things to consider.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, because there's some guys too that like I do it because I know they're mindful enough, like Josiah or Ilpo or a few other folks that I know that they are aware enough of their car that if I do a move like that, they'll be like, "There's Devin," and then they'll just drive right up the inside of me, and that's what I needed. I needed them to see me and be like, "Hey, buddy." And there are other people who will remain nameless that I would never get near them for anything because they're gonna crash 2 corners later anyway. So I'm just gonna let them go by and then take care of it later, right? So you've got to you have to have a little judgment.
So guys, quick question about this. I was the Ferrari 212. I was wondering, unfortunately, when I saw the replay, I realized I didn't squeeze him because at first I thought I squeezed him. I didn't actually run into him, but I thought I squeezed him. And I didn't know if that would be a valid strategy because he would still have track, but if I kind of squeezed him into the car that was kind of coming onto the pits, like if I took a little bit of a more inside line, I wasn't sure if that would be, if I took more inside, if that would be unsportsmanlike.
Oh, I see.
No.
Or
No.
even or
Very
illegal.
easy answer.
No.
That's just part of, you're going to hear me say chess game a million times if you continue to stick with the rookies, but this is part of the chess game. You have track position. You now have someone that's going to act as a wall.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you use that?
Yep.
It's, Carter is definitely a good enough driver to realize that if you start moving down on him, that's exactly what you're trying to do. And all he's going to be able to do is lift off and say, "Nice move. I'm going to try a few corners later."
Or Carter will get hyper aggressive and drive right up to you because it'll be like, "Nope, no," right? So the thing that is risky for both of you is the space to maneuver, right? Because if I'm the 4 and you are outside like that, if I can get to you to stop you from moving, I'm gonna. Right? Because then we can kind of coast together and take care of it. But if I give you too much room to maneuver, then you start getting ideas. I don't want you to get any ideas.
So close to squeezing him. Obviously not running him off the track, but just squeezing him just a little bit. But it's not like I needed to anyway.
Right. Well, and also there is like the negotiable if you're a steward who's at fault kind of probability there, right? Because if you were to come down and squeeze him and you guys were to crash and both of you were to wreck off, whose fault is this? Right? We're gonna have a different conversation now because now between you and Carter having an accident between rather than actually you squeezing him. So it's got to be subtle if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, it's got to be enough that it scares him so that he backs off, but not so much that you have an incident.
Right.
Now, I will say, actually, looking back at this, you would have had to have squeezed him earlier because if you start trying to squeeze him just before I've stopped it here, what's going to happen is you got 3 cars that are trying to go into the corner together, and it's a high-speed corner with not enough room for 2. So basically past here, you got an issue because that Ferrari ahead of you guys doesn't really have anywhere to go unless he completely brakes, which turned out that's what happened, but he didn't have to. So if you were gonna squeeze him, it was somewhere around here, basically.
Yeah.
Down right now as you could. It'd be cheeky, but it's
It'd be cheeky.
allowed.
Yeah, no, seriously. If you really wanted to stop him, you would drive straight to the bottom of the corner and have Carter have nowhere to go except for maybe the outside or with you. And now you've killed all his momentum as the track starts to turn, and now we can do whatever we want. But the moment he gets up alongside you, don't be a dick.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's exactly it. Because then he's earned the right to that space, and now you're both seeing how good drivers you are, and if you can go side by side through a corner.
Yeah.
And that starts to come down to how much do you trust the guy next to you.
And a little bit of respect too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because there's some guys I've raced with who I can tell don't really have really good respect yet, mostly because they haven't had a bad enough crash. And so they just cut you or they chop you or they squeeze you. And like to me, a squeeze is I give you a Ferrari's width of space and no more. Right? I don't encroach on you, so your car can still survive, but I don't give you like a barn door to drive through. It's just enough room so your car can negotiate the corner and I can leave. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, right? It's like a mild middle finger, but nothing more. Right? Just nope, and then you leave. Where a lot of folks that still kind of lack the on-track respect will like cut all the way over to the bottom of the corner, or like completely block me, or just have nowhere for my car to go. Well, then it's also your own fault if you get hit now.
Just to
Right?
give you an idea of what, well, in this case it's a Mercedes width, but he's squeezing me, but it's enough room that I can get by. I use the grass a little bit, but that's
you guys
the type
didn't even
racing.
come close to paint touch, and that's the whole
No,
point.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went on the grass specifically to avoid any, because he could have. It would have been very cheeky, but he could have tightened down on me a little bit more. So I went to the grass to make sure we didn't touch. But this is where I trust him, he trusts me, and we're racing close. What you don't want is now a Mercedes literally, that we're trading paint.
Yeah.
Right here, because that becomes an issue, and that's not respect. That's just
crashing.
Yeah,
It's crashing. It's just crashing. That's all it is. It's crashing.
Say it. Say it. It's a
Just say it. I
crash.
know exactly.
It's a
Just-
crash.
just
It's
say it.
crashing.
Yeah, you're just crashing.
So there's two
Thanks,
things
guys,
that
for
are
going on
important. Two things that are important if you want to put a squeeze on someone, especially like back someone up to a back marker. You have to do it early enough so that they can react, and you have to be decisive. If you do something like a half squeeze where there is like just barely more than a half, like a full car width between you and the back marker, they will try to go through there.
Yes.
And they will hit you.
Preach.
I see this all the time
Preach.
while stewarding. If you are gonna squeeze them into a back marker, do it really decisive. Like leave them
Hallelujah.
absolutely no chance of double guessing
Yes.
whether there is room.
Yep. Neri,
Yeah.
actually, let's go back to Hungary and what we were talking about in turn 2, right? Kind of half leaving the door open leaves a half kind of space for the car next to you, right? You either want to close the door or leave it open, but don't kind of half let them peek. Because the moment they peek, they start to get bad ideas. They become a peeping Tom. Right, and you don't want that. It's terrible because now they can manipulate where your car is. You're also offline. They're probably going to take advantage of you. It's not good, right? So
I noticed.
it's one of the it's terrible, right? And a lot of times too, if the driver is clever enough, if you leave me a door, I won't even try to make the corner. I will just stop you from turning, and that's all I need to do is roll up next to you and just stop you from being able to negotiate the corner, and it's all your fault because you let me do it. So. Right.
Yeah.
So you don't want to give those people that opportunity.
That's a really good point, Oppo. Like, I mean, as you can see, I'm more than half my car is on the grass here, and a warning to anybody that races with me: if you give me half a car's width and some grass, I'm going there. And it's if anybody has watched the race, a la Kevin Estra Nürburgring, like that's what good racers are going to do. Is if you give them a gap that's safe enough to take, they will do it. And then if you continue to squeeze, then you're going to have an incident, and then it's kind of a 50-50 at fault, because the guy trying to pass probably shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, if he's got two wheels that are on the track, he's technically still in play.
Josiah is one of those people that I love to have qualify in front of me, because what he does is he opens doors that are super wide for me to walk through. And it's really nice. I don't have to do anything. He's just like, I'm going, and I'm like, that sounds fun. I'll do it too. Woo! And we just go together, right? And then after a while, you wait for the whole thing to be done, and then you're like, all right, we can party now, right? Like we're out of that. All right, now let's party, right? So.
All right. The next one is at 3450. Car number 666. He says, I murder someone.
Oh, you murdered
This
them?
is not no. This is not Loic. This is somebody different.
Oh no, that's what happened.
No, I died
So
on lap 2.
Okay.
So it's a car. It's a car number appropriate incident in that case.
Oh, I was wondering what happened. I got there and I was like, "That's my friend. I'm sure it happened to him." Oh no.
This is actually a bit early, but yeah, we can watch from here.
Here lies Ilpo.
So this is confusing to me.
Here lies Ilpo.
Here lies Ilpo. He had such a
Like,
great
this is
Oh
Seeker
my,
again.
okay.
Oh man.
He's blue flagged, and I don't understand what he's doing. I think he's going to let me go, and then he
Yeah.
comes back to the line, and I'm like, what the what's
Yeah,
that?
that's a
Please don't
fair.
do that.
That's a fair.
Let's watch that on board, because watching from these cams, in a lot of my own incidents, I'm like, oh my goodness, it was so terrible. And then you go on board and you're like, still not great, but I understand. So let's take a look.
I had a couple of problems with that too, and I was laughing the car, but he doesn't have to move. He was
Oh,
just
you're in helmet cam again.
It should be.
yeah. See
No,
where
you
see where
see
you
the
break
foam
and
at the
you see where
bottom?
you break and want to vomit. Just
That's
yep. There you go.
there
it
you
is.
go.
So let's pause it here before. Okay, first of all,
Where's he coming from?
yeah, where are we going? What are we? Yeah, right. So that's the first thing. Like we need to give our cars room. Like remember in the beginning of the debrief when I made this big old speech about giving your car room. I'm gonna do it again, and give your car room. So if you're gonna make a move like that, at least make it gradual so that you have enough time to set up and stop, and the car behind you has enough time to negotiate the corner. Because you can tell here that he comes so quick, so late, that he basically stumbles past the braking point, outbrakes himself, and Elpo has no choice to hit him because he's still trying to fix it. So like, they're just gonna crash. We're gonna die.
Yeah, this is one of those things you should have taken some time to kind of watch him because he's so far offline.
Yeah.
That's one of
Here's
those.
the weird thing. He's blue flagged. He was blue flagged for like 2 laps before this, but he's fast enough that it's really hard for me to like pass him. And I also didn't want to be really close because I was a little bit sketched out by his driving.
Yep.
And when he went to the left, I thought he's gonna lift and let me go because he's blue flagged and he's not fighting anyone. So why doesn't he let me go? And I'm really confused
There's
here.
a little bit of rubber banding there
Yeah,
too.
there's a lot of rubber
There's a
banding.
lot of rubber banding.
So now I'm really confused when he doesn't lift and like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, because you're not fighting. Like so I'm not trying to throw Sika under the bus, but I had the exact same problem with him. Right? Is that we're positioning our car offline as if we're battling rather than just being online and slow. So I'm confused the whole time. Because I'm like, I have to renegotiate my car as if I'm racing you for position when we definitely shouldn't be doing that. So now what do we do? Right? Because you're sending me all the wrong signals, right? So it becomes hard to negotiate because we shouldn't be fighting each other. We should just be by each other.
I'm honestly a little bit confused here. You didn't brake super late. Like that, you're on the brakes there.
Yeah,
that's not
that is
terrible.
my normal braking point.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just no turning in the car. Like that is weird. Yeah, I would have thought it would have turned a little more than that.
Were you not at the point where you were going to release?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like.
I mean, because he's still kind of full on the brake, so I think he's, in his mind, at the speed that he normally carries in the corner, he's probably like, I'm going to release in a second and then I'll turn. Right?
Yeah.
But he hasn't gotten that point yet.
So I stayed on brakes past the release point because I think, like, I'm thinking I'm gonna hit him. He's gonna turn into the corner. He's way slower than me. I'm gonna hit him. So I just like stand on the brakes in hopes that he turns in, and I miss him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what I think he's thinking right here? I think he's thinking I'm gonna go deep and let him go on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which technically should have left it on the straightaway and let him go to begin with.
Yeah. Why do we want to do this in the most dynamic part of the corner? The most loading the car at the highest speed, like.
Yeah, this is the hardest place to try to overtake somebody. If you're gonna let them by, you're better off letting them by early than late, because if they have to brake extremely late and turn in, if your brake bias is back, it puts the guy that's lapping you in jeopardy of losing the car.
You nailed it, Bobby.
Quick question: can we pay attention to his settings? Scroll there you go. 56, 8, 3, 3, and 3, and a map of 1. Yeah, that's not too bad.
Fine.
I mean,
That's fine. It's this is gonna sound really mean, but I don't mean it to be this way. It's just kind of like a collection of poor decision making that ended up causing an accident, because we're on a straight right here. Like, if you're gonna give up in this long, open, peaceful place. Let Ilpo just drive by, and there's no force on the car. There's no G on anything. There's nothing to do. He would have just been up and gone. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
I have mentioned this many times in the practice server where if you guys are, if stay on the racing line, but if you're going to let somebody go by, just lift off the throttle 10 to 15%, and the rate of catching someone in a straightaway will be very noticeable, and the person that is already trying to plan an attack or a pass will notice that very quickly.
Yep.
So they'll move over and go around you very safely. That was the other thing I was trying to tell these guys.
Yep.
I'll also say this, and Ilpo, that this is not your fault, and it's more just like if you see this, then maybe think this. So know that he's come across the track back onto the racing line, and he's going to be the car's not straight, so the car's not settled, and he's still headed towards the barrier, so that that when he brakes and tries to turn, that front right wheel is just going to say no.
Yep.
Or front right tire.
From the dirty side of the track too.
Yeah. There's no way that he can come in from this, even if he breaks in the right spot. He's not going to be able to turn that car, even if he wants to be able to. And I'm not sure he was trying to here. But so what you might think about doing is when you see that, as soon as you see him cut back across, go, okay, the chances of him actually making the apex here are real small. So you just move your braking point back a little bit and see what happens. Because if he makes it, then you can just back out of it. Like, you got no one behind you. There's no downside to being a little bit slower through this corner. But if what happened, then you can just send it to the inside. You'll be slower still, but at least you'll have your car on the inside of him and he'll have nowhere to go. Even if he hits you, nothing's going to happen because it'll just be door handle.
Well, I mean, I should have lifted the instant he came.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, exactly.
Yeah, the instant he chopped, you should have been like, fuck, no, nope.
The problem here is that I'm driving like really angry. My race was ruined on lap 2.
Yep.
And then I got hit again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like mad. I'm actually more mad at the people who tell me I should be in silver when I barely qualify in top 10, but that's another story. I'm actually really mad about that.
Let's not go there, Ilpo, please.
Ilpoism. But also, I felt bad for you, Ilpo, because like you got your race screwed, and then you had a really good stop, and I fucked my stop, like no doubt, and gave you all that time back. And I came out of the pits and you were ahead of me, and I'm like, all he has to do is take it home, and he's got me. And then you got. I mean, yay, but
Guys, have a good night. I gotta get off here.
Take care.
All right, man.
Cheers.
Have a good one.
I see you, buddy.
Later, guys.
All right, we have one more. Lap 16, car 212. He wants a breakdown.
Alrighty.
We already covered that.
Oh,
cool.
Great.
It was with Stout.
Oh, okay.
No worries.
Jinx, double jinx.
Does anyone have something they're really proud of that they want to show off?
Sure.
Yes, please.
1930, car 666.
Well, he didn't just get accosted. We should give him something.
Okay, sounds good.
No, I think that it was also very good driving from the other car. I think it was Keith Bull, because he could have like made a mistake and turned into me, but he left me room.
Man, the Ferrari sounds so good.
It does.
It's at almost the end of the lap.
Oh, is it?
probably.
Okay. We'll follow you guys here.
Yeah, I think the move starts from here.
That's what I like to hear. The move starts from here. That's the kind of
right there
He
with
gets
a
up
little
and exit.
wiggle.
He leaves
that's
me enough
nice.
room.
See, we can negotiate because we know this is happening. Ooh, Ilpo! Ilpo! Yes!
The elbows out.
You're like, this ain't happening today.
I was actually going to stay far to the left, but because he backed off so much, I just opened the steering and cut it. Because I was planning to take him here. I was really planning to just go side by side through the start-finish straight and take him on the inside on the first corner. I didn't think I would get him in the chicane.
Did you run? When did you pit in your pit window, Ilpo?
About halfway through.
Halfway through? Okay. I was curious because I saw that you got hit, and so I went to the pits immediately to just try to get the pain done out of the way, and I knew you would probably run long because you got hit. So I was kind of curious where you were. I just did not pit well. So.
I was just trying to optimize the lapped cars. Like when I saw a lot of blue in the relative, I figured that I'll pit now.
Probably.
Sound like someone else had something they wanted to show off.
Lap 20, car number 45, first chicane.
Lap 20. Alrighty. First chicane?
Yeah.
That's the part where I was like a little bit too aggressive, I guess.
Hey, at least we survived. That's what matters.
Oh.
Deep.
But I mean, like, oh my God, Gary, damn. Okay.
Let's look at that from back there.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Shut up! Why are you sorry?
It worked.
Oh.
It worked well.
You know
too.
what? I like that. I gotta say, I like
driving.
that.
That was some driving. Like, yeah. I'm
mean, it's a
sorry.
What gets out of the car first, you or your balls?
Right?
The one
Yeah.
thing you need to be aware when you do a move like that is that if there is contact, because you came from so far back, there's a fair risk that it will be considered a dive bomb. But if it works, it works. Hey, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
you're fortunate that you have a good driver next to you that isn't trying to like just make up for a mistake and like jump the curb and a few other things there too, because this is actually as much an Arjun for not driving into you, because there are a lot of people that I know would have just full throttle right when they hit the curb and yeeted right into you, and you both would have been in the wall, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
accurate.
yeah.
Well, me and Carter crashed when we did try doing this in the practice.
Yep. No.
This
Arjun, I
is
think your head ought to expand sideways now. You've got it real tall. I think now it ought to blow out.
But
that was heads up.
Carter, I barely left him any room, so you know what? I'll give him more room. He's already committed.
Really wanted to defend for like that whole lap, but I thought I was going to get killed right here.
Yeah.
Like right there.
Yeah. And all you can do is hug that Mercedes and hope the blue one doesn't turn you into a pancake.
I saw him coming. I was like, this is gonna be very close or tears.
Yeah.
I want to see what it looked like from the Ferrari.
Oh.
What did we talk about? Overtaking yellow flags.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That. There's some guy in a marshal's point going, stop!
I don't see any yellow flags waving though. Does anybody?
This game doesn't do yellow flags. I know that was mentioned before,
'Cause
but
there's
it
a
doesn't
G
do
right
it well.
there.
No.
Jeez.
No.
There's a blue flag. Another one. And another one.
Yeah, it doesn't know this is an incident for like 2 or 3 seconds until a car is like, kind of stationary.
Like right here, right when he hits the wall, there's a marshal right where he hits the wall. There should be a yellow flag right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's none.
I should have been on the grass more here, to be honest.
That's funny.
That was
Devin?
wishful thinking on my part.
On that overtake with Arjun, we were like battling for I don't know how many laps, Arjun, like 6, 7 laps.
I'd say
And
I think it's
then
like 4 laps because my tire I owe I need to run over curbs to get down the pressure.
Oh.
Hey, Josiah, did you bin it like on the last lap? Because I think I was really close to catching you, and it was just like the last lap, and it was probably like 2
Me? I did bin it, yeah. Although if anybody wants to see, actually, I'm sure everyone wants
I would like to see
yeah.
that. Yes.
That's after the bin.
Yeah.
I was over ambitious because I had been catching Larry for about 10 laps, and I was doing all the mental math in my head, and this is what ended up happening.
To Larry's
The
credit,
back end's coming around.
he is kind of frustrating to try to catch.
And this was the second to last lap.
Yeah, because at one point I was looking and I asked crew chief. I said, "What's the gap behind?" And he said it was 3.6. And next thing I know, it was 3.0. And I'm like, that was fucking quick.
Yeah, we were really pushing to try to make something happen, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, there was a back marker here, and I should have been more patient, just waited for the real exit rather than here. And I got some oversteer and that.
Yeah, you went for the fast exit, and it hit him.
Yeah.
It didn't affect him, though, did it?
No, it didn't. Thankfully, I was really happy to find out that it didn't affect him, because I was feeling bad about that for sure. I will say, I want to see. There's here's a lap where I was.
I have to admit that I did bump into Greg early on in the race.
How
And
dare
it turned him sideways, and I waited and I waited and I waited to let him go by. But it was like, I guess he couldn't get the car straightened out or something.
What's that? 1034.
Me and Carter,
behind you, Larry, on
into
that.
each other at the same place, and I nearly died.
You guys were kind of in a back when that happened.
What?
That was Lewis talking.
Well, there was 3 people
Josiah,
talking.
you're eating your microphone
There was
again.
Josiah eating his mic. There was Arjun talking, and there was Lewis talking. So what?
Oh no!
Oh no! He's in space.
I found it. Though,
It again.
Fly back.
There's the world.
Yeah, it's the world. Fly back.
Went by.
Oh, I'm enjoying this.
It's.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Quick,
What were you
This is
saying,
what it
Lewis?
looks like when you get hit in the head with a baseball.
Yeah. What's a concussion look
Everything
like?
blacks out, and you see a little hole.
Yep.
I'm gonna avoid doing that, but just so you guys know,